Thanks again.
Alright, man.
Whatever your name is.
Wow.
Sorry, I forgot.
He obviously cares.
Sorry.
I've only been sharing my soul with him. He doesn't even remember my name.
Thanks for joining us today. Yeah. Is it okay if we really take position?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Thank you
that's
very
awesome.
much. I just, how are you? Like I asked you before. Here I am talking into Christian again.
Really, really good. And a really, like a lot of the stuff that I've talked to you about prior to, and actually you gave me some amazing perspective last week. You gave me a perspective, you said to me something that really touched me, and it was, the more I get to know you, the more I look at the chaos of your life is about this big, and the pain and stuff, and the love and the good things is getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And obviously since then you know that I've started a relationship, and that's been really key for me to learn that actually this far outweighs this little corner of chaos and victimisation and that I've had in my life. The more I focus on good, and like I've changed my living arrangements. I now live with a really good friend who's real progressive in her thinking and is going forward, and I've got great friends. I've got I've just got a part-time job working with people in the disability sector, which is great, that I love. So I've just started focusing on the positive stuff, and that's far outweighing all the negative stuff.
So, I remember last time we talked about that, and that was pretty cool, because I always got the feeling that you didn't value that. You didn't value that, and hopefully you realize that you have a lot to be happy about, value. You mean a lot to a lot of people. Hopefully you realize that, and outweighs what we talked about before. I guess reflecting on our past sessions, how has everything been around, how has it been, work, your business, family life, ex-boyfriends or partners of your sisters, the guys that come into your life, like the fellowship guys that upset you, that have been adversarial, as you said before. How has everything been up until now, and how has it impacted on you personally, or more importantly, as part of how you would practice as a session with God?
I think that a massive thing that happened this year was that my cousin passed.
Yeah, sorry.
And in the initial stages of the grief, I was blown away that someone who had made such a huge difference in the community could be taken so fast, and trying to make sense of that in my head was so huge. And so the lens through which I see all of those things that I now have is kind of like this. I don't have tomorrow guaranteed. I don't know what's going to happen next week. And this year I've decided to really clean out the closet of my relationships that I don't want in my life. Also engaging in a relationship with somebody romantically as well, that's been a huge deal for me, because I've had so much grief over losing someone I loved, and a relationship that went sour, that I've held on to for years of my life, ridiculously, that I couldn't move on, I couldn't go forward. And your question, it does tie into your question. Also, letting go of my parents' business, that closed down, and I was so gutted, and I kind of came to a place where I was saying to my partner, I sort of felt pretty hopeless, what's the point of my life, why am I here, what is the point of me being on this planet? It's just grief and sorrow, that's all we get is just shit, and then we die, and what's the point of our lives? But reflecting upon what James brought to the community, and what he left in that community, like Ruben, for example, in the service, knew him, lived with him, was helped by him, and loves my whānau members, some of my whānau members, and is close to them as a result of that. I think to myself, actually, the point of going through all of that is to wake up in my head and go, I actually can recover from this. And I have a guy that I think is incredibly just amazing and is just a beautiful person, and I can see just incredible potential in. And I never would have made that plunge if that situation hadn't have occurred.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm making sense of all of the negative stuff in my world and going, I'm going to make choices to move on. I'm going to let that business stuff go and move into this role. I'm going to move out of my family chaos and move in with my friend who's experienced similar family chaos but doesn't live in that headspace. We'll move forward together. Yeah, I guess what I'm saying, I say all that to say this, that the beauty of that is that I can recover, that I have got resilience, that my life is moving forward. I'm not a victim, I'm not staying stuck in that. And just to finish that up, my partner and I were in town on Monday and my cousin was at McDonald's. I didn't know he was there. But I said to him, oh Tim is James's brother. He nursed him when he was dying. And as a result of that, Tim came back to New Zealand and decided to be part of the community and masking that my auntie and uncle had. And Tim's come from a pretty high profile job, earning a lot of money in Australia, but he loves the community and he's committed to it. And he met my partner and they instantly clicked, and there was this joy in both of them because they recognised that they both have a similar kind of ethos, and my cousin was like pouring life and energy into my, and he said, you know, when Tim left, he gave him a hug and he said, that's the second guy in my life that I've hugged. And he also said, you know, doesn't do hugs with other people, but he also said that he felt elevated, like his energy was lifted. And I thought, if James's brother can move forward in life, if he can elevate other people out of misery and suffering, if he can pour goodness into them, and he can see the value and the potential, and like, it was funny because they were both sort of pinging off each other. Like he would say, you know, we're designed for love, we're created for good things, we are designed to live out our potential, and he would say, yeah, I see that, blah, blah, blah. And there was just this incredible energy there, this like bubble of energy and goodness, and both of them left off on a high, and Tim was like really excited, he was getting real into it, you know what I mean? He was like, yeah, that's true, you are a good person, you have got value, I can see it, awesome, I'm so glad you're with my cousin, blah, blah, blah. It was just awesome, and I thought, that's my future. That encapsulates my practice. If I can find people with serious issues, problems, whatever, and I can look at them and say, you know, the suffering is gone, and you are amazing, you are designed for love, you are created for good things, you are just an absolute ball of potential waiting to happen, then that's been worth all of this grief, suffering and loss, because now at the end of it is something beautiful. So that's kind of, I hope I answered your question.
Oh, more than answered my question. More than answered my question. I guess goodness, that was a beautiful picture you painted in my head because you answered that perfectly, and I guess it pretty much sums up how you. It was for me. It was listening to you go through the journey as you were speaking, and see where you ended up, and see how this describes your practice today. And I guess how, like if you were put into a role now as a social worker, which hopefully you will, get a full-time role as a manager of social workers, or no?
Whoa! Whoa! Promotion.
No, I mean, I guess listening to you tell your story, how would you practice? How would it look like? You practicing with farming, client farming. How would your experiences, as you described, manifest itself in your relationships with client farming, social worker, client farming, social worker?
I think I didn't know I had the strength inside of me to recover from all of this garbage, you know, and my life experience, and the, you know, sexual, physical, emotional violence, all that kind of stuff. I didn't know I had it. But what I've learned from having people love me and value me and give me emotional strength is that everybody has it. And I think the way I want to practice is I want to look into people's soul and go, yes, I see the strength in you. I see where the good things are. I see a light, a little teeny, maybe it's a tiny, tiny light that, and it's kind of like how my relationship that I'm in now kind of started or developed in my head was I saw the light in the other person, and I thought there is some amazing stuff in you that maybe has been undiscovered for years and years and years, but you've got an inner beauty that if you can understand, if you can see it, far outweighs all the other crap. You've got a beautiful spirit, you've got a warmth, a genuineness, a light in you that will far outweigh all of your pain and past experiences. And if that's kind of what I want to bring to the table, was when, it's kind of like what I was saying about when my cousin met him, was like he instantly got, whoa, this guy's got stuff in him that is amazing. I see it, and I'm gonna hone in on it, and I'm gonna elevate that stuff above the other stuff. So for me, the way I practice is look for the strength, look for the light, look for the good, focus on that. That to me, like even now I'm saying it, there's like an effervescence inside of people that's been totally shut down and stomped on. And when you can spark that, when you can pour goodness and life into them, it wakes them up. They have an awakening experience, and they come alive, and they recognise their own value and their own strength. So that's what's happened for me. People loved me. That people imparted strength into me. They didn't say to me, well, you've been a victim, it's so terrible, your life has been so shit, blah, blah, blah. They said to me, you're not a victim. Your life might have been shit, but that's not who you are. You don't get to be defined by that. And then they continued to encourage and value me until I could do it myself. So that is how I practice. That's just... can I just give you a cultural perspective on that? I went to, my friend runs an organisation that transports poor Jews from Eastern Bloc countries to Israel. And, and actually she's transported a lot of Holocaust survivors from these places back to Israel. And she has them set up in this home, basically. And she says to me that they're some of the happiest people she's met in her life.
That's minus 1% of my supervision grid. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
All friends off.
And the way... That's right. The way I see that working out is because I was saying to my partner that the way my cultural perspective is a Hebrew perspective, and the way that Hebrew perspective works is this. I gift you trust, and I gift you honour regardless of where you are in life, what your station is, what you've done, all that kind of stuff. And the word for honour in a Hebrew context is this. It's a picture of scales, and it's a picture of like a merchant having scales. So he's got, so you come to me, I'm the merchant, I've got the scales, you say I want $50 worth of gold. I put stuff on the scales until it gets to $50, and how I know it's got to that amount, this is an ancient thing they used to do, is there's a little door on the scales, and when it hits 50, the door opens. And the word honour is a representation that I give you gold until the door of your heart opens. I give you honour until the door of your soul opens. So what she's doing in that context is, in a Hebrew context, is restoring the honour or the mana to those people until they can value themselves and enjoy who they really are. So that's kind of how I practice. Gift you trust, gift you honour. And I do it. It's not dependent on you or what you've done. It's dependent on me and the way I perceive you and the fact that you're a created being with a heart. So I want to be treated with honour, and I will keep giving it to you until you can live up to that. I will not make you live up to something you can't.
Yeah.
I will resource you with the ability to get to that place. So that's kind of how I see it.
That's massive. I really like your interpretation of how you practice. Just thinking about it, like, can I have? I don't know if that's a supervision term. But I mean, like, I guess just making the picture a bit more clear for me. You talking about honor, trust, giving it, reawakening, being able to touch someone's, enlightening. How would you specifically do that with a client finally? Could you, for example, you said a friend transports, Holocaust survivors from the Eastern Bloc, from the whole Eastern Bloc to Israel. That's her process of giving them honor, trust.
Yeah.
What's yours specific way of operating to get that or to show that?
I remember, well, I guess that the way, and I worked with my father in Marsden a little while ago, and my interpretation was, so basically, the way that they rolled, it's probably a repeat of everything I'm saying, but the way that they rolled, like I had a couple of women who had been, one in particular who had been abused by her partner. He was just a really, really just, kind of a guy. He had 3 kids to her, left her in the shit, cheated on her with somebody else when she was in Australia. She got really skinny because she was worried about the relationship, worked really, really hard. And the insult, the end of the relationship came when she was spewing up because she was so sick and so stressed and so worried after she took an ironing to kind of supplement the income so he could smoke weed. And, they could have a good lifestyle at the same time. And he came home while she was spewing up in the toilet, after being sick and stressed, and he said, "You're disgusting. Look at you. You look how disgusting you are. You're like an anorexic victim or something like that. I'm leaving you for this woman." And off he toddled, left her with 3 kids, totally stranded in Australia, etc. So that was kind of the story and the picture of their relationship. Do you know what I mean? And when I met her, she was just real beaten down. Just like, oh my gosh, who wants me, who values me, all that kind of stuff. So we just, we had like a domestic violence course at the church. We used to put it on every week and stuff. And I guess the whole thing was that I'd just go around to her house and listen to her talk. But more than that, I mean, it really wasn't that hard. It was more just saying to her, "Babe, you're really amazing." Like, and narrative therapy, I suppose, where she would tell a story and I'd hear things like, she gave up all of her time and energy to help out disabled kids while this guy was, running around town being an idiot. And I'd be like, "That's so awesome that you had the strength, you found the strength to give to others." She was very empathetic, very kind, very generous. And I'd say to her, "You're just a beautiful person." I mean, that's really as simple as it was, and it just boosted her confidence. And she's doing far better today than she was then. It was just mainly a case of not going, "Oh, wow, that's so terrible, what a dick, oh my gosh," all of that kind of stuff, and focusing on that. It was more a case of building strength in her so that she recognised her own potential, and so that, he tried to contact her, and he wanted to have all these conditions on her still, even though he wasn't in the relationship, he was with somebody else. And he actually came and stayed at her house because he came back to New Zealand and him and his new partner didn't have anywhere to stay. Anywho, I was pretty averse to this, but I just kept on encouraging her that she deserved better. She was worth more than that. She had, and that's kind of what our organisation was about, was just finding the good and building on that. Don't look at the bad. Don't focus on the victimisation. Don't teach people, in your head, you need to know what the signs of abuse are. Well, people can know in their head what the signs of abuse are. That's fabulous. But if they don't know in their heart that they're loved and valued, they'll go back to the abuser. So we just got around her and we just loved her, we just valued her, we saw the good in her and we kept focusing on that until she could see it for herself. that's kind of how I roll. I don't know if that's like professional or amazing.
That was perfect. You know, you clarified how you operate, specifically how you operate as a, you know, that's your thing. That's how you manifest and embody what you said. Trust, respect, reawakening, keep focusing on people with positive stuff. I know what we were talking, I was thinking about, like we talked about before, we talked about a bit of mind traffic and how that was,
Oh yeah.
yeah, how that was, how things are with that and stuff.
I think the mind traffic really came down to living in a very stressful environment, having a huge level of responsibility, and also like living with constant drama, because as a kid, my life was just chaos, like I said, and you know there was just no real adults to be stable for me apart from my nan, and she would come into the situations and she would just be like, it's okay, I'll just calm you down. She'd just sort of soothe and nurture, and what I've realised now is I'm living with one of my really good friends, and she's been separated now for a few months and has got 5 kids on her own and stuff, and so there's high levels of stress with her, but the difference is that I can assist her, I can help her, we can reflect on each other's situation, we bounce off ideas off each other. She's very progressive, forward-thinking kind of person, has lived in a similar environment to me, but wants to move forward, and we always look for the good in each other.
Yeah.
So the mind traffic is, I mean, I do worry about stuff a little bit. I've got to keep a check on that. But once I got rid of all of the dramatic situations in my life, because I don't do drama, I don't like drama, I'm not really into it, I don't feed off other people's misery and think, oh, how can I fix this situation to kind of, you know, see what this person's going to do or push some buttons. It's just been really good. There's just been no mind traffic because I've got a job, so I've got my financial situation sorted out. I've got good relationships with friends, good relationship with God, good relationship with whānau. That isn't hard work. You know, like I said, my cousin came over and you know, just brilliant people. Love them so much. Who've worked out all of their own crap and their own drama and are giving back to the community. And so there's not that constant chaos, and in my own like relationship with someone that I'm just getting to know, really good accountability, really good sort of like structure and accountability. Both of us are growing and learning and changing as we go along, so no need for craziness. Do you know what I mean? And that's really good for me because I'm in a really good place of just being able to sort of give out. Yeah.
What's a safe space for you? Do you have a safe space at your home?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, safe space for me, like you meet my friend Mary here. To me, she's like
DTU.
that works in the DTU. I was saying to my partner the other day that she knows my story, she lived my story, and I go and sit at her house, which is beautiful. It's you know, situated in Akatara, so you can look at the mountains. She's got a huge section with horses and orchards. We just sit outside, we look at the beautiful picture, her and I just sit there and we think, and we just reflect on how amazing, how awesome it is when you know who you are and the value that you have and the value that you can see in other people, and we just build each other up. And that, and also, I mean, friends as well, that the excitement that I'm in a new relationship, that they're happy for me, they've met, you know, the guy, and they're really excited about it. They see the value in him, and just that's my safe space with those people because they know my story, and some of them have lived a similar journey, but their minds are, where do we go from here? How can we get further? And there's always that constant building up of one another. So that's kind of, you know, church. I love my church. The guy who runs it is chilled out, man. He's mean. I love listening. He's just like, you know what, no standards, no pressure. You have value, you're important, we're here for you. We're just here to love each other. It's community focused. We have a meal after church, just chill out, talk to cool people, that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like I'm beginning to realise, Barney, that what I've come to understand in my life is that I am drawn to positivity. And I've always been drawn to positivity. And so some of the drop kicks I've allowed in my life, I've always been like, ooh, I don't really feel like you fit here. And now coming here in the empowerment program as well and learning about myself and having people reflect positively, I'm putting myself in more and more safe spaces to be reaffirmed and valued for who I am, and then I can give out of that. So that's kind of where I see my safe spaces, is in pockets of the world that are good, that are positive, that resound with my value system.
Yes. I guess another thing during my safe space is I caught on that you said you worry a bit, but you have to keep that in check. I don't know, just getting a clear picture of what you mean by that.
I went to counselling a while ago, and the guy said to me, "You're a fatalist." And basically a fatalist is a person that expects their life to sort of spontaneously combust and everything to turn to shit. And because my life when I was a kid was continuously hopeless and terrible, and I lived in an environment, I grew up in a culture, there was lots of predators, and the hierarchical structure meant that my family was at the bottom and other people were at the top, and you were always constantly being reminded of the negative, you were labelled and there was nothing you could do about it. You didn't know from one day to the next when the idiot at the top was going to make changes to your life so that you'd be in constant turmoil. I suppose you could say, a few things like we were removed from my parents' care and sent to live with other people in the environment that weren't very nice to us or good to us. And also the paranoia, the constant feeding of paranoia. The government's after us. Don't tell the authorities what's going on here. We don't talk about stuff outside of our environment, don't narc on each other, that kind of thing. And there was always some kind of crazy conspiracy theory as to why we needed to be in that environment. So you feed off drama and paranoia, basically. Yeah. And so for me, I have to stop blowing things out of proportion in my head. Yeah. A seed of doubt gets planted in my head about something, and then and so I was reflecting about it with my friend, and she said to me that I used to just, something would happen, someone would steal $20 out of my wallet and I would Mount Vesuvius. It would just be a massive drama. And now I have the capacities and the mental faculties, after living with my auntie and uncle and watching how they dealt with crisis and stuff. I actually do a lot of self-talk, and I do a lot of connection upwards about that. A lot of surrendering the bad and asking for the good, asking for peace and asking for clarity, and giving up the negative and giving up the stress that I feel about situations. Because actually a lot of what I've thought in my life is not going to happen. And what I was talking to June before about it, you fatalise every situation because life has been really shit and bad stuff has happened to you a lot. But what I've come to understand is that the more I remove idiots from my life, and the more I remove drama from my life, and the more I remove negative situations with people that are going to take advantage of me, the clearer the picture becomes, the more I can see manipulation before it comes to me, the more I understand about myself, the more I can put boundaries in with people that are abusing me and taking advantage of me, the more I choose to make good decisions because I believe I deserve good things from my life, the less I self-sabotage. I actually have really good logical stuff in place that will mean I don't go back to that place. So the worry comes from a place of the past, but I sort of have to just keep it in, I have strategies to keep it in check, because if I let it, it can overtake my world, and it's not even the truth, it's an illusion. Yeah.
No, because I just caught up when you were talking about that. Because you haven't actually mentioned that before, that you do worry about it. It was just a surprise to hear they come out now, actually. As you were describing, not to worry. I worry, but then again, it's to catch my attention. And I answered it pretty perfectly. You do have those systems in place to keep it in check. I guess building on from that, what makes you happy? You said this is what worries you. You described it, how you deal with it. What's the flip side of that?
I think, I know it sounds really kind of ridiculous, but I think love makes me happy. Like, I love hanging out with my niece. I love her so much. Like, she's so beautiful, and she's a little bit Asperger's. I know this sounds real crazy, but she's a little bit Asperger's, and she really likes to, you know, like, she'll come out with some whack stuff, like she'll act like a dog or something, and I'll just be like, you know, or she'll put the cushions in order, or she'll be in charge of all the kids at daycare, or, you know, she'll be looking for snails on the side of the road when I'm trying to get somewhere, and I just love her. She's just so amazing, and those things, those are little unique, quirky things about her personality that really bring joy to my heart. And when I'm around her, there's just a sense of awe, because she is the most, I honestly think that when God made her, there's nothing to compare it to. You know, she is the most beautiful thing, and I tell her that all the time, you're the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, I just get this incredible sense of joy, and like, I can't even describe it, like this intense feeling of just overwhelming love. And she actually just puts joy in my soul. We have this, because of that experience I described in the psychodrama, her and I have this, like, this bond. To me, she's the most precious thing. And like I was saying to you, spending time with my cousin's baby, you know, she's just got this effervescence about her personality because her daddy loved her. You know, and she's just the most gorgeous, beautiful thing. She's so alive, and she just enjoys every minute of being Pearl, you know, and that makes me, and also I think what makes me happy is coming to a place like this and seeing people reconnect with themselves and reconnect with their potential. And like I was like, you know, when I was saying with my cousin Tim, just this effervescence, just this sense of, he loves being Tim. He enjoys being Tim. He's so happy about being Tim that he can't help but pour joy around him. And I love that, because that's what makes me happy. I was so happy after he left. I was like, whoa, on cloud nine, because there's nothing like being around people that enjoy being them. That's what makes me happy.
I guess, kind of like summarising it, how does it sit next to your fatalist tendencies? What you just told me about.
See, you actually answered that question for me when you said,
oh, this is like specific, you just told me specifically the situations that...
Yeah.
Well, like, yeah, well, I'm just asking, how does it sit with you, with each other? Because, I mean, you just described to me a situation which was pretty amazing, as your body language told me, compared to the fatalist tendencies.
I think that, like you said to me about, you know, the chaos, that the chaos that I lived in has imprinted upon my brain, and it triggers stuff, it triggers anxiety for me at times. But I know, and I've always known, like I always knew when my grandmother was looking into my soul and could see the good in me and could see the value in me, I knew that one day I would do something that I really loved, and I knew that I could. That was the seed of her planting into me, but I can't explain the essence of my grandmother as something that's incredibly special to me, and special to a whole community of people, because she's just a treasure. She just has this thing about her where she looks past all the shite and sees into the person, the real person, and it's a gift. I can't explain it. But when she was looking at me like that, and when she was calling out to the real person and calling out to the goodness in me, I knew that all the drama and the chaos wasn't real, and that what she was giving me was. So being around all that positive stuff and allowing myself to be immersed in it, it makes the drama and the fatalism seem like a shadow and seem like a lie. You know, that's like one of my favourite songs is by a chick called Lily Kershaw, and it says it's a song called "Nothing Is Quite As It Seems," and it sort of talks about how, you know, in life we expect this but we get this, you know, and so I think it's opened up my soul for a whole lot of experiences to happen to me and for me to happen too, that I wouldn't have allowed myself to be involved in if I didn't have a belief in my soul that things could get better. So going to the Wana and doing my degree, connecting with someone that I think is amazing, relationally, having good friends that see the value in me, all that kind of stuff, I've had to trust, to put myself in those positions, that things are going to get better. And the more I do that, the less I think fatalistically. Because a fatalistic person will keep on going back to the same garbage that they have before. And I think that, well, I'll sum it up with this. A few months ago, I went over to Masterton, and my cousin Tim and my auntie were, you know, chilling out, talking about good stuff like they normally do. And me and my sister came over to my auntie's house. We were sort of she lives on the property, she lives there, and she sort of hangs out there. And we were talking, you know, my auntie had just come back from Israel and stuff, and, you know, doing a trip and stuff. And we were talking about, you know, just our life in the past, about being in the cult and the environment that, you know, that produced in us. And then we started to talk about the positive stuff, you know, about the value that we see in the community that my auntie and I have helped to create, about the value of James's life, about the value of knowing who we are and valuing that and being able to plant that seed in the community. And that, you know, even though there have been so many ups and downs, even though, because he was, this year, he said to my uncle, I'm going to take the reins and I'm going to do what I always wanted to do, and I'm going to manage the social service. And then 4 months later he was dead, you know, and so that was just it just killed me, because I worked there, I knew what he'd put into that environment, and I was just like, what do we do now? And then, so we were talking about that. It was awesome. We were saying, you know, it's going to be an amazing year. Next year we can see awesome things happening. And then within a couple of months, these people came to the community and they said, we've got PhDs and we want to write up program funding for you guys. We want to get programs in, and we want to create a kibbutz style of living. We want to, because there's people living on the property, but we want to have community meals. We want to have a lot more connection. And then, you know, then the church started doing things like instead of having a guy talking at the front, they started having community meals and a discussion forum kind of stuff. And from that conversation, I'm not saying, I don't believe in magic fairies. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying it's all mystical or whatever. But from that conversation, from reflecting on the negative and thinking about the positive, and designing a plan for the future and connecting with what we wanted to see, and reflecting back on that shit, we don't want that anymore, this is where we're going. All of that stuff has come out of there. And I can't explain how. I can't give you, 7 keys to how you get to this place, or 50 different structures, or this is how you make it happen. And I can't say to you that I believe, like I said, I'm not magic, fairy dust doesn't work with me. But I do believe that you attract what you put out. I do believe that because they had such a positive, open mind, because they had a design for the future, because they were leaving that crap in the past, that stuff has been drawn to them, and now they're moving forward into an even greater opportunity to bless the community. So that is how I see life. It's forward momentum. It's moving forward. Don't get stuck here. Don't think, oh, James is dead, there's nothing we can do. Actually there is. And he would be freaking annoyed with you if you stayed there. His life would be wasted if you stayed there. you know, and like even things like there's a couple in the church who have decided to design the children's playground. They've put all of their own money, a therapist and another person that she's with, and barked it and built this beautiful children's playground and put a plaque with James's name on it. As a result of his death, they've done all of that work, and now they can even further bless the community. So it doesn't have to be, you don't have to live in shit and you don't have to stay there. Good things will happen. It's actually about what's up here and what's in here, and you move forward, and it's your mind frame and the space that you're in. If you're a victim, you'll attract victimization. If you're not, you won't. That's what I think. Does that make sense?
Perfect sense. You wrapped it up, and what can I say? You wrapped it up in a pretty much good speech there, and I don't know. I think you're on a good path, especially from when we first met.
Yeah.
Down at the community house. For me personally, it's really a positive scene and progress on the way. What can I say? You pretty much summed it all up. You've got all these amazing things going on for you. You've got good family. You've removed yourself into a better space. You're in a positive relationship. You've got real good plans in place, even to counter your worry, fearless ideas and stuff. You really got some good stuff in place. And I can't really say much more than that, other than just commend you for the journey so far. Myself anyway, sitting back and listening to, and comparing to our first meeting down at the community house. Down there, a lot of stuff was going on, especially around work, around losing your cousin, around work, around your company, and stuff like that. So to hear you come back now and show more understanding, you do have a lot of, you're a reflective type of person, as you said, you reflect a lot on what's going on. In my personal opinion, you've definitely come a long way. You've put a lot of systems in place yourself, which in a way again shows how much capabilities you have to do so. And as I say, I guess I'm just here just to let you bring it out of you, so you can realise what it is going on. A pit stop along the way in your journey of life for you to reflect, for you to look above and look down on yourself, how things are going, where things can move to, where they can't, where to go, skillfully navigate, skillfully maneuver through your life. And I guess as a supervisor, that's really impressive to see, because my responsibility is being able to assist you in navigating your life into better practice, or into practice that you want to practice or that. And, I don't really articulate myself too much in big words. Hopefully my simplicity will be able to, in the wide world that I do, get others able to navigate you better into places that you really want to be.
Yeah. And
as I said again before, you're in a better place than when I first talked to you personally, and which has no doubt impacted on how you practice, which is good, and especially hearing you talk about specifically how you would practice. For example, helping a lady in her relationship and how they look to me. Painting that picture for me was real good, because then it just showed me this is how you practice, this is how you embody what you talk about, and it's not empty words, it's real words that you practice. And as a supervisor, thinking about how you practice social worker, to be drawn that picture to that detail, it's comforting to me to know that this is the way you practice, this is your framework you operate under, this is the purpose you do things. And I should stop stroking you, because that's not what we were supposed to do. Stroking what you've done. We're here to enlighten you, which you're not pretty much enlightened yourself. So I was just adding to the enlightenment, hopefully. If that's all right, can we stop there? There's space to stop there. Only because you pretty much answered all the questions I did have. And I wish I videotaped the first session. That would have been a more meaningful description to show this is where you were, this is where you are now. Shosses, man.
Thank you so much.